So. Just hear me out here. Just hear me out, right? Today I'm looking at a series that not many people probably know about. The first time I ever heard of the series was from an AVGN episode where the nerd, or James, just very briefly talked about it. And that series is Crazy Castle. Now, I didn't think much of it. At the end of the day, it's a very simple little platforming puzzle game where you gotta go and collect keys and go indoors and shit. A little bit like elevator action in a way. Kind of. But no, I had no idea I was going to fall down the figurative and quite literal rabbit hole that was Crazy Castle. So stay with me here and stay tuned, because today I'm going to be looking at the Crazy Castle series as a whole and talking about how strange it is as well. Yeah, we'll have a look at the games, obviously, but I want to focus on how strange it is. And we'll get to the strangeness. Don't get me wrong about that. We'll get to the strangeness. But either way, I hope you enjoy, and let's dive right in, shall we? Now, here's the first game in the series. The first game. Now, not chronologically speaking, but the first game realistically, because it was this game that then spawned off even more games. This is Mickey Mouse. Am I holding you so far, right? The series is on the original Game Boy, and the series in Japan is simply known as Mickey Mouse. It's a very simple puzzle game, as you can see here. Basically, you play Mickey, you go around, you got to collect hearts, you've got other Disney characters, I think, or other Mickey Mouse characters chasing after you, trying to stop you. They're pretty smart, the old AI. As you can see, they can try and follow you around. There is ways to, kill them, just like there. I could pick up a boxing glove and then shoot at them, which I don't think that's how boxing gloves work. But yeah, you can do that. You could also have these little weights around on the level, which you can then move and use as well. And basically, the level's won when you've collected all the hearts. You move on to the next level. Now, if it was as simple as that, and it was as simple as, yeah, this is just a series called Mickey Mouse in Japan, and this is literally all it is, we wouldn't have an issue here. But that's not the case. That's just not the case. Because this game was released as well on the NES, Famicom Disk System, and also this game was localized. Now you may think, well, that's not a big deal, right? So you had Mickey Mouse on the Famicom Disk System, you had Mickey Mouse on the NES, you had, Mickey Mouse in the West. No, that's where you're wrong. That's where it starts to go a bit fucky. And that's the real truth. So, this game was localized. Let's go with the Game Boy version first. This game was localized in the West as the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle. Yeah. How can a Mickey Mouse Disney game go from being a Mickey Mouse Disney game to a Warner Brothers Bugs Bunny game? Exactly. And it just gets worse. This series as a whole just gets worse and worse. So, what's the difference between the Mickey Mouse game and the Bugs Bunny game? Why was it a Mickey Mouse game or Bugs Bunny game? Who knows? But the only real difference here, the levels are exactly the same layout, just that the hearts have been turned into carrots, and the enemies have changed from, I guess, Mickey Mouse enemies to other Looney Tunes characters. Even though Bugs Bunny's in the title, it is other Looney Tune characters. You have like Sylvester Stallone. Oh, my mistake. No, Sylvester the cat, right? You have Loghorn Leghorn, the rooster character. I don't remember that many. Yosemite Sam, I know him. He's in here. But yeah, the game is identical to the Mickey Mouse game, just now it's a Bugs Bunny game. But that's not where the strangeness stops, right? Because then the NES version of this game, which is only an NES version, there's no Famicom version, there's only an NES version of this game, was released as the Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle. So I'm guessing that they they localized this game and then they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna release it on the NES as well. The NES version was made in the West in comparison to obviously the Game Boy version. But then there's the Famicom Disk System version, which is chronologically the very first game, and that's a Roger Rabbit game. Yeah, you remember watching the film Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Yeah, it's a Roger Rabbit game. Why? So straight off the bat with this series, it's kind of all over the place with what licenses and what brands and what characters, franchises are linked to it. But I will warn you, it only gets worse. Like, you would think like Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny. What the fuck's up with that, right? What's up, Doc? What the fuck's up with that? But then, right, like, okay, they're both cartoons, and fine, whatever. I guess you could say they have their similarities, kind of. But then you have Roger Rabbit, and that's completely different. The only relevance that has with something like Bugs Bunny is that they're both rabbits. That's literally it. So, really strange. So yeah, the first Crazy Castle, this is where it goes, and it's just going to get worse from here. Let's have a look at Crazy Castle 2 next, shall we? A big hum in the audience there. So as you'd expect, in Japan, Crazy Castle 2 was released as Mickey Mouse 2. Again, in Japan, it's a Mickey Mouse series. So of course it would be called Mickey Mouse 2 in Japan, right? So what's the difference with this game? Well, this is where the core Crazy Castle gameplay starts to shine. The whole entire walking through doors and collecting keys, which tends to be a staple in the series and is what it becomes pretty much later on down the line. Yeah, so you go around, you watch out for enemies. I don't know what enemy that is from the Mickey Mouse series, but yeah, you can collect bow and arrows this time, besides, boxing gloves, and shoot the enemies that way. You can then collect other items as well, like, as you can see the rock there, you can collect the mallet, and I think later on you can collect a pickaxe, and they all have different uses and to get through different obstacles. At the end of the day, this game is mainly a puzzle-based platformer. That's what it is, even though the puzzles aren't particularly grand. But yeah, the whole entire point now, as it is in most, as there's a warp tile there, that's what the double W means, is to go around collecting all the keys. So you have to go through all the doors and get the keys and whatever else is in there. And that will then unlock the final door, which will then allow you to complete the stage. And that's the entire game. So, this game obviously got released in the West, understandably, right? But what if I told you that it got an even worse localization? And I don't mean at the beginning. I mean afterwards. So, just like with the previous game, this game was released as the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 2. At least this time around, they actually have Crazy Castle on the title screen. And as you'd expect, it's the exact same game. Here you go. Same first level. The level you just saw. Here it is again, but Bugs Bunny this time. So yeah, fair enough. But unlike the previous game was released as the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle in both America and Europe. This game was only released as the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle in America. So then you start to think to yourself, well, what about Europe? What about Europe? Who knows, right? Who knows? So let me just stop here for a second and let you just think about it for a second, right? You had to think about it? You're going to say, oh, it was released as the Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle 2 in Europe, wasn't it? What else could it be released as? What if I told you that it was released as something completely different? And what if I told you that it got 2 releases in Europe? 2 fucking releases got released twice in Europe. The first time, it's a very familiar franchise. The second time, it's like, what the literal fuck is that? So, the game got released as Mickey Mouse in Europe. I'm not even fucking joking. I thought this was a joke. I looked at it, I was like, what? So, first time around, you're like, no, let's release it as Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle. But the second time around, you're like, in Europe, no, let's not release it as Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle 2 like we did with the original. Let's just call it Mickey Mouse. We don't want to fuck up any more than we already have. We know, we got the license to Mickey Mouse, right, in Europe. Let's just use it as Mickey Mouse from now on. Now, if they actually did that, I would give them credit and say, fair enough, they fixed their error and they've now moved on from it. Not an issue, right? But oh no, it gets worse, and we'll get to that when it comes to the fourth game in the series. You think from this point onwards they would have learnt their lesson, but no. So, as you can see, the very first release, like I did say, there was 2 releases in Europe. The first release in Europe in 1992, I believe, if I remember correctly, came out the original Mickey Mouse game, Mickey Mouse 2, came out in 1990. Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 2, 1991, or also 1990, I can't remember. But then Mickey Mouse in 1992. What if I told you 3 years later, after they released this in Europe as Mickey Mouse, they also released it again in Europe, but as something completely different. Not as Mickey Mouse, not as anything as you'd expect. But you would think, oh well, if they released it again in Europe, they must have then realized, oh fuck, we're not going to do it this way. We can't secure the license from Mickey Mouse or some stupid shit. We'll release it again in Europe in 1995 as the Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle 2. Wrong. It's Hugo, the TV troll. Have you ever heard of this? No, apparently this is a popular European franchise. Has a lot of games on the PlayStation 2. It's a series I wouldn't mind having a go on a few of their games at some point. But yes, something I'd looked at and I was like, I know this, but why? Why was it re-released 3 years later in Europe as fucking Hugo? Just Hugo, by the way. What the fuck? Why? Why do this? What is the game? Was the game so popular in Europe you had to re-release it? What was the fucking deal here? You know, I think Hugo is a French-based series. I don't know. Maybe this was them like, oh, we want to localize the game in France. But I can't see the Crazy Castle series being massively popular when it came out. I know it spawned a bunch of games. Most of them were just localizations of the Mickey Mouse series. Maybe it was popular in Japan. So it makes no fucking sense why they would do this. Anyway, so that was Crazy Castle 2. Luckily with Mickey Mouse 3, it's not as complex, but it's still really strange. So let's move on to that. So here's Mickey Mouse 3. Now the thing about Mickey Mouse 3, it's a unique game in the series because it's an NES Famicom exclusive. And it's much different than the previous Crazy Castle games. It is literally just a 2D platformer. There is no Crazy Castle element about it. But, and you may go, well, it's not a part of the Crazy Castle series then, is it? Well, no. But yes, at the same time, this is still part of the Mickey Mouse series. And the Mickey Mouse series as a whole is the Crazy Castle series. We only know it as the Crazy Castle series because that's what it was called in the West. But in Japan, the whole series was called the Mickey Mouse series, right? So here's Mickey Mouse 3, it was the NES Famicom exclusive, and it's very different than the previous games. You know, it's a game that was originally going to be released in the West as, I think, Mickey Mouse's Magical Balloons or something like that. Because the whole entire premise of this game is you go around dodging enemies or jumping on enemies' heads, and you fire balloons at your enemies. That's the whole entire thing. There's a little mini game where you can kind of get health back and shit, but that's about it. It's okay, but the real question, as it is for this whole entire video, is what do you think that this game would get localized as? Must be a Bugs Bunny game, right? Oh, well, actually, no. This game's very different than the previous Mickey Mouse games. So maybe it would get released as something completely different. That's fair, but you would think it would be something known. Something that you would realize and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But no. It got released as this. Kid Klown in Nightmare World. A very small franchise that existed back in the days of the NES. It had its own franchise, yeah, like I said, and is based around a clown, a kid clown. That's all I have to say. I didn't really look into this series, if I'll be honest. I didn't care about it. But what was strange to me is, why? Like, here we go again. Here's the same hedgehog battle you just saw. Why change it to a kid clown game? I guess, yeah, the balloon things make sense. But that's just strange, though, isn't it? You know, like, what are they going for? Why, like, so many strange, erratic licenses that this series is going with? It's just crazy. Now, the gameplay is exactly the same. It's just the model's been swapped out for fucking Kid Clown. You still have this little mini-game thing where you can recuperate some health and shit. It's very difficult, this mini-game, mind you. As you can see just there. You have to be very precise. Very on point. But overall, it's okay. And that's all I have to say about Mickey Mouse 3. It's just a completely different game in comparison to the other Mickey Mouse Crazy Castle games. And it had a very strange localization. It got localized as a Kid Klown game for some reason. Who knows, right? Maybe, again, maybe because of the balloons, maybe. But, like I said, there was originally plans to release it as a Mickey Mouse game in the West. So why suddenly change it to a Kid Klown game? Maybe they couldn't get the license for Mickey Mouse again, which is kind of silly. I don't know. This whole entire franchise, by the way, the whole Crazy Castle Mickey Mouse series is developed by Kemco, if I haven't already said it. Yeah, it's their series. So I don't know what the whole entire deal is behind it. But anyway, let's move on to Mickey Mouse 4, where the literal shit hits the fan, and we now move into crazy people territory. So here's Mickey Mouse 4 for the original Game Boy. Now, this game tried to spruce it up. It doesn't go back to the initial elements. It doesn't have you going through doors and picking up keys necessarily. You do still go through doors, but the whole entire gimmick for this game is now you have a jackhammer. I'm not even joking. You have this jackhammer thing, and you're supposed to whittle away at fucking these tiles and collect sparkles. I don't know what you would call them, right? I'm just going to go with sparkles. And that's the whole game. You're supposed to go and collect sparkles. And once you collect all those sparkles, you'll shine bright like a star. And then, yeah, you'll shine bright like a star. And then you can then go to the final door, or the only door in the level. There's only one door now. And just as you saw there, shine bright, you'll get the key. And then you can now go through the door and leave the level. Still have the warp zones and everything. So yeah, it's still a Crazy Castle game. It looks like these wands, you can place down these wands and they act like the bombs did and stuff in the previous games, just that it's a wand this time. But the whole entire thing with using the jackhammer, it's kind of the main issue I had with this game, and this is got to be my least favorite Crazy Castle game, simply because, well, maybe not at least favorite. That probably belongs to fucking Crazy Castle 5. Didn't even know what the fuck I was supposed to do in that game, but we'll get to that. It's probably my second least favorite Crazy Castle games, because you have shit like that. I only just noticed after I got rid of that tile that the sparkle's there, so I'm like, oh shit. And I didn't know, I was like, oh, do I have to restart the level? What's going on? I didn't realize until I got to the end of the level, you had the warp zone, and when you do use the warp zone, it warps you back to the start of the level, and then it resets all of those tiles. But the whole entire thing I wanted to make you aware of, that at least I felt like, was that the fucking jackhammer is phoned in. You know what that means? Phoned in. It just kind of feels like it doesn't belong in the game. It kind of feels like they purposely put it in there just to artificially lengthen the game. It doesn't add any puzzle element whatsoever. It just, now you have a block in the way of you being able to pick up that sparkly. That's literally it. It's fucking annoying. That's all it is. It doesn't add anything to the game. And look, I made the same fucking mistake again, because I was like, I completely forgot, and I was like, I'm just going to stand in the fire and kill myself. I'm just going to do that and then reset the fucking level. It's better than me walking to the end of the level and going for the warp zone again. Because I was too busy moaning, I will admit, I was complaining a lot about the whole drilling mechanic and why it's just unnecessary and it doesn't belong there. There's also the fact that you press the select button to bring up a menu. So if you collect a key to open a bridge, as you saw earlier, it's... yeah, you have to press select, then you have to highlight the key, and then press B, and then it will work. It's just unnecessary. It doesn't have to. Why? It doesn't have to be like that. At least this game has a jump button. You know, that's the one thing. But yeah, so now I've talked about the game. Let's talk about the localizations, because this game got fucked in the ass. It got literally fucked in the ass with localizations here. Yeah, so let's start with the first one, from America. Oh, so what's this? Oh, there's no jackhammer. Can't get through the door, but you got no jackhammer. You saw it wasn't there. So how's he gonna get through? How's he gonna get the block? Whoa, what the hell? What's that? Some kind of laser? Who is that? Well, guess what? Guess who the fuck it is? It's the fucking real Ghostbusters. The game got licensed in America as the real Ghostbusters. I honestly, boom! That's just like your mind explodes kind of moment right there. When I realized that this is what this was, my mind exploded. I was like, why? What the fuck? The wands get changed to bombs, just like in the previous game, but you still got to collect sparklies. It's the same fucking game. Didn't make that mistake there, did I? Look, I remember. See, I remember. But instead of having a jackhammer, you have the proton packs, and you use those to destroy the blocks. But the real question is, why the real Ghostbusters? Why? Why did you see it as the... you know what? We need to bring Mickey Mouse 4 to the West. You know what? I got the perfect series. The real Ghostbusters. That's the one. That's the one we will throw it on. Makes no sense. It's just so stupid. So yeah, so they decided to... The gameplay's exactly the same. Level's exactly the same. But it's the real Ghostbusters for some reason. And you have... The only cool thing about this game is you have the going throughout the whole entire level. It gets a little bit annoying, but it's cool. A little 8-bit like version of Ghostbusters theme. Now, if I asked you, what do you think... you've now seen what it got localized in America. What do you think it got localized as in Europe? Didn't get localized as the real Ghostbusters. Didn't get localized as Mickey Mouse a game at all. And I can guarantee you, but at this point in the video, you're completely dumbfounded. Unless you're already aware of this series, you're completely dumbfounded. Like, I have no fucking clue what they could honestly license this game as in Europe. If they could license it as fucking the real Ghostbusters in America, it could be anything. It could be fucking Buffy the Vampire Slayer for all I fucking know. Who fucking knows, right? It could be fucking, I don't know, it's just pulling shit out of my ass here. It could be a One Piece game. It could be a Batman game. It could be a fucking Spider-Man game. It could be a Garfield game. Wait. What was that last one?
Why has God abandoned us?
Yeah, Garfield. Garfield's Labyrinth. Who would have thought, right? I was right. The last one, Garfield. Yeah, makes sense, right? Makes sense. We can do it as a Garfield game, of course. Oh, why am I so fucking stupid? Honestly, guys, I've sat down here and I've looked at the figures. I've looked at them. What's the hottest fucking selling franchise in Europe right now? What is the hottest selling franchise? It's gotta be Garfield, right? It's gotta be Garfield. That's gotta be the one, the only one. It is the sun. So yeah, they released it as Garfield's Labyrinth in Europe for some reason. And it's the same game. There's no difference. They brought the jackhammer back. This time they've given Garfield the jackhammer. It didn't make sense with Mickey Mouse, and it doesn't even make, and it still doesn't make sense with Garfield. The one-ups are coffee. Yeah, I'm done. I'm fucking done at this point. Luckily, this is the last time shit goes fucking wild, because from here on out, it's just pretty tame, if I be completely honest. Next time around, we're going to be looking at Mickey Mouse 5, so that's what we're going to be looking at next. So, let's go. So, Mickey Mouse 5. Yeah, this is the final Mickey Mouse game. After this, it just goes into the Crazy Castle series, because I don't know why, but for some reason you had Crazy Castle 1, Crazy Castle 2, and then they decided to stop calling these Mickey Mouse games Crazy Castle. And then later on they made more Crazy Castle, but nothing to do with Mickey Mouse. So this is Mickey Mouse 5, and this is the only game. Now this is gonna surprise you, because why wouldn't it, considering what's happened so far in the video? This game was released as a Mickey Mouse game in the West. Yes! This is the only game, it's the final Mickey Mouse game, and it's the only game that had a proper release in the West without it having any kind of brand dissociation, any kind of franchise change. Yeah, it's really, really strange. So this was released as Mickey Mouse Magic Wands in the West, and basically it's a game that it's more of the same, really. They got rid of the whole having to basically pick up the little jackhammer and drill blocks. They've got rid of that, which is good. But now you've got these little, like, rubies, because that's what they look like. They look like rubies from Legend of Zelda. You've got these little rubies, and basically you go around smashing blocks with your wand. You don't use it in a magical sense, you just smack the block and do that. And yeah, and you collect items that come out of it. Some of them have keys, some of them have food, some to restore your life. The life meter in this game is pretty generous, in all fairness. You've got 6, looks like 6 hit points. So you get hit 6 times, you die, you die, more than 6 times even. But yeah, the other thing in this game is you're basically supposed to. I don't know why it called it magic wands. It's called Mahou no stick in Japan, which was pretty much just the same translation of magic wands. Where realistically, the whole point of the game is you have to go and collect pieces of other Mickey Mouse characters' portraits. Like you just saw there, I was collecting smashed a gem and I picked up a square for a portrait. As you can see here, I'm doing Minnie Mouse. It's quite obvious that's Minnie Mouse. So you got to collect those 6 pieces, and once you've got those 6 pieces, I can progress to the next level. I don't know why that seems to be the case. When you got all 6 pieces, you can then go. You can get keys as well, and it's the same feature as in number 4, where you have to press the select button and select a key and whatnot. There's also these things, which I thought at first weren't enemies, but they are enemies. It's decided not to move yet, so... And there you go, now it's moved, because I have to go down here to get the last gem, and that's, the last gem that was visible anyway. So there's 2 more I've got to get. But yeah, as a whole, it's much better. I'm glad they removed the jackhammer thing. That was really annoying and didn't really need to be in the game. It's a much bigger improvement. But in all fairness, where can you really go with these Crazy Castle games? There isn't really much you can go on or much you can go with. They're around about the same stuff each time, so it's hard to improve upon the mechanics, right? But this is the last Mickey Mouse game. I'm going to stop talking about Mickey Mouse 5. This is the last Mickey Mouse game. From this point on, the games were released both in Japan and in the West as Crazy Castle. So let's have a look at those next, shall we? Now, you'll be surprised to see I won't have much to say about these last 3 Crazy Castle games. The very first one is Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle, which was released in Japan as Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 3. Even though they haven't had Crazy Castle 1 and 2, that's what they were released as in the West. But, you know, never mind. So not only is this chronologically fucked in the West, it's chronologically fucked in Japan as well. Yeah, so it was released as Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle 3 in all 3 territories, and it came out for the Game Boy Color. So far, everything but, you know, Mickey Mouse 3 has been in black and white because it's on the Game Boy. And as you can see, also, I'll keep saying as you can see, it's the same kind of gameplay from Mickey Mouse 2, Crazy Castle 2. So you go along, you move weights to destroy enemies, or other Mickey Mouse characters again, other Bugs Bunny characters, Looney Tunes, and you then go through doors, collect keys, and once you got all the keys, you can go through the final door, and that's the gameplay. It's literally identical, and I mean literally identical because it is. It's literally identical to Crazy Castle 2, to Mickey Mouse 2. There's no deviation, there's no difference. It's exactly the same formula. There's nothing new introduced to the game. You've got a pickaxe and a mallet. Mallet destroys one blocks and the pickaxe another, but you got to pick it up on the level to be able to use it. You got bombs, same as before. But like I said, once again, you got to go through all these doors, get the keys, and then go to the final door, and then you can complete the level. It's exactly the same. The only difference now is that it's in color. Woo! So yeah, so that's Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle 3. Now let's move on to Crazy Castle 4, shall we? See, look at that! Bugs Bunny's even saying yikes to how fucking messed up chronologically and franchise associated this fucking series is. So, what's going on with Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 4? Well, not really anything, because it's literally the same as before. Like, there's a few new mechanics here and there. The formula is still exactly the same. Go through doors, get keys. You get, I think, it looks like balloons, but there is, like, bombs and stuff. It looks like you get a gun, and yeah, you kind of do, kind of don't. It's really weird. So, like, the gun thing, which doesn't really look like a gun, if I'll be honest. Actually, in game, just down there in the little menu at the bottom, it looks like a gun. You can then shoot the enemies, and you got these balloon things, which I haven't come across when I was playing. And obviously, you have the mallet and the pickaxe again. It's exactly the same. I do like the thing that it comes up with the saying "Get to the door." The door, you can go through the door now. Little thing that pops up. That's cool. So you know, but yeah. In terms of like how different is it compared to Crazy Castle 3, there isn't any difference. It's literally the same. It's just more of the same. Now, instead of just simply walking through the door and picking up the key, you now have to walk through the door, open the chest, then pick up the key. So they've made the process longer. And that's what I tend to see with this Crazy Castle series. They just seem to make the process longer, each level longer, so that maybe they can do less levels. Maybe that's what it is. You know, the previous Crazy Castle games were boasting 40, 50 plus levels, when it wouldn't surprise me if this game has something like 20 levels. But I digress. So, yeah. Crazy Castle 4, more of the same. So let's move on to the very final Crazy Castle game, which, for some reason, like I said, these two games are fine, because, again, it's Bugs Bunny, makes sense, but for some reason, Crazy Castle 5, they were like, even though, for Crazy Castle 5, just like with this, and number 3, all 3 regions, it was released as the same. In Japan, this was released as Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle 4. With Crazy Castle 5, they decided to change the franchise again. And that franchise change was across all 3 regions. So let's move on to Crazy Castle 5. So yeah, let's pick an even more annoying character to feature in Crazy Castle. Yeah, Woody Woodpecker. Let's just go with Woody Woodpecker. I don't know why. Woody Woodpecker, maybe he was popular in 2002. Who knows? But the game was released in Japan as a Woody Woodpecker game, and I can't see Woody Woodpecker being popular in Japan. Well, maybe he was. I don't know. It's really strange. But in case you're wondering, yeah, this is the only Game Boy Advance Crazy Castle game. You play as Woody Woodpecker. The backgrounds look really cheap in the game. Just look at it. The art design's kind of eh. Except when you go in the room, the Egyptian temple thing is cool, I guess. Woody is some kind of 2.5D monstrosity. And he does. Look at how way he walks. Look at it. It's just, And, yeah, this game is the worst Crazy Castle game, by far. With the previous Crazy Castle games, they are simplistic puzzle games. Simplistic puzzle platformers. This game is not that. Reason why is, basically, I went around and went through all the doors, collected all the keys, and then I realized, okay, I need one more key, right? I got 7 keys, I need an 8th key to open that final door. The problem is that 8th key is over to the right hand side, just above where that door is. Thing is, I don't know how to get there. Unlike the previous games, remember, the previous games, like the previous Mickey Mouse games, maybe not Bugs Bunny, Crazy Castle 3 and 4, but you had a jump button. Why did they take it out? It's a thing I forgot to mention in Bugs Bunny, Crazy Castle 3 and 4, why did you take the jump button out? Jump button's a great addition, because you can add even more complexity to the game. But no, we don't want complexity in this game. We want a really shitty, simple puzzle platformer that isn't even a puzzle platformer. It's literally just fucking elevator action at this point. So yeah, basically, I go up a door, go to the top of a house, and I try. There's no jumping in this game, by the way. You just fall off the edge and hope for the best. So I'm here on this edge, and I'm like, okay, so I need to get over there. So I'm like, okay, I'll get as high as possible. I'll do a run up, thinking that might do something. But no. So you have a map option, which is cool. And as you can see, I'm scrolling around. The door's over here, right? So I gotta jump to get over there. And the game says there is such a thing as leaping. But how do you leap? It doesn't really tell you how to leap. So you just end up thinking, okay, I gotta get over there, and here we go. You see, you can't get over there. I don't know how you're supposed to get over there. I don't know how to do this leaping thing that you're supposed to be able to do. It makes no sense to me. I don't know. This game, in my opinion, is the worst, just on design alone. It looks terrible. It's based on Woody Woodpecker, which is a really annoying character. I never liked the Woody Woodpecker show back in the day. Yeah, it don't improve. Seems like with Crazy Castle 3, 4, and 5, they were like, let's just stick with the formula that Crazy Castle 2 had instead of like with the Mickey Mouse series where they tried to add new things and try and spruce up the series. Some things for better, for the worse, for better or for worse. Like with number 4, the Jackhammer, and number 5, they've improved upon it. I think number 5 is really good, actually. But yeah, they were like, yeah, let's just have it like this. Let's just continue having it like this. Yeah. So there you go. That's That's Crazy Castle 5. Great. So there you go. I wanted to do a video where I looked at the Crazy Castle series and went over how crazy the Crazy Castle series is. See? That thumbnail was appropriate I made, isn't it? Just all the fucking different series that is featured. Oh, God. So yeah, the Crazy Castle series. Definitely a crazy series. Don't know why they had so many franchises associated with it. It's really strange. Maybe it was just an easy kind of template that they could just move stuff over. Again, it was on the original Game Boy, so it makes sense. The sprites are easy to change. But it's still strange, isn't it? It's still really weird. But yeah, I thought it'd be interesting to look at the Crazy Castle series, and I had quite a bit of fun playing through them. It was interesting, you know, playing each game. And yeah, I enjoyed my time with them. It did make me laugh and giggle a little bit. You know, maybe not Woody Woodpecker's one though. Maybe not Crazy Castle 5. That was definitely the worst. So, if you went on the perspective of, oh, Bio, so what was the worst and what was the best? The worst was obviously Woody Woodpecker's Crazy Castle 5, and the best, I would probably go with Mickey Mouse 5, or the Magic Wands. I feel like that was like the pinnacle of the series. They actually fixed the issues that 4 had, and improved upon it greatly. And it's too bad they didn't continue it. It's too bad that we didn't get a Crazy Castle 6 where they were like, hey, well, let's just copy number 5. Let's just do that. It would be better. But the Crazy Castle series died, and Woody Woodpecker killed it. So, I've been Bio. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.